And I want to bring in Congressman Hakeem Jeffries of New York, who represents areas of New York City that were hard hit by Superstorm Sandy. And Congressman, I want to play for you this bit of sound from Senator Coburn, or actually read this to you. Senator Coburn saying that it's insensitive to talk about offsets. It's insensitive to even talk about it now. It just shows the crassness of Washington versus the sensitivity we need to have. What is your sense about whether offsets are going to be demanded on this and whether they should be?
Well, it's my hope that offsets won't be demanded. We went through this as it relates to Superstorm Sandy, and it was highly problematic. You know, the federal congressional response to disasters have got to be three things. They've got to be swift, they've got to be compassionate, and they've got to be thorough. And as it relates to Superstorm Sandy, the federal government was a day late and a dollar short. In fact, Congress was 78 days late and $50 billion short. That was unfortunate. It set us back, and it was because of the offset discussion that we weren't able to move forward on a more expedited basis. We're all hopeful here in the Congress, and certainly on the Democratic side of the aisle, to make sure that as it relates to this disaster, we can get the relief necessary to the people in Oklahoma as swiftly and as thoroughly as possible to help them get through initially the recovery phase, but then, of course, the rebuilding after the humanitarian issues have been dealt with.
Steve, you track this stuff. Do you agree with the Congressman? You're shaking your head a little bit.
I don't agree that it was the delay had any impact on the money that went onto the ground, because we have the disaster relief fund just like we do right now. This is what's going to initially get tapped. It's $12 billion. Yeah,
well, you actually hold up right there. Just explain to me, because every time you see this in your inbox or you see it, the president has signed an emergency disaster declaration. Right. And in fact, Oklahoma is the third highest numbers of disaster declarations after Texas and California. What does that mean in real terms? What does that do before we even get to Congress?
Sure. I mean, basically, you have the local government says, we can't handle this. It's so big. They go to the governor. The governor says, I can't handle this. This is so big. Or in this case, she can't handle this. This is so big. And then they request the president make a major disaster declaration. FEMA sifts through it, because some of these are on the margin. Some of these are really clear-cut cancers.
Like this one.
Or, right, exactly. And then the president makes the major disaster declaration, and that's when the federal funds start flowing. And so that's when the money starts moving into the region and flows. And so there's $12 billion today in the disaster relief fund that is available for the president to start sending through FEMA to the area. Same thing happened with Sandy. And I just point out, and I don't want to re-litigate Sandy or whatever, but I mean, the president didn't even request any money, didn't submit any requests to the Congress until early December, more than a month after